on the atom today. Hallelujah, brother. Bouncing on the atom. Bouncing.
Something, something, something. Elmo, I learned something today.
That was hilarious. Oh, Aaron, yesterday when we were doing our test recordings for the Night of the Living Dead thing, when Jeff started up the recording, Jim started going something about Elmo, blah blah blah. Oh, we're recording now. Like he basically did like a parody of what we do before we start every show. It was hilarious because it took a full like 2 minutes for Jeff to realize what Jim was doing.
We're recording now.
Yeah, we are.
Oh.
Oh, how meta.
How awkward.
Yeah.
Did that recording frighten you?
It should.
Because today we're talking about haunted houses development. I have a haunted split level ranch.
I have a haunted timeshare.
With our coffee in there.
I know.
Hey.
It's a little coffee clatch today. So, how's everybody doing? What's going on?
Doing great.
I'm doing well. I have
Fantastic.
started my run as Madame Parnell in Tartuffe.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Bessie was a woman now.
Uh-huh.
Cool
It's-
beans. Got any fun stories from corset or something?
Well, on stage, I'm going to credit it to the honest integrity of my character that I can't even get a laugh as a 6-foot pink-haired grandma.
Uh-huh.
But backstage, I went up to the box office because I'm in the very opening scene, I'm in the closing scene, and in between, I went up to the box office and just sort of stood there waiting for our box office manager to look around the corner. And she might have screamed loud enough to be heard on stage when she turned around and just saw me standing there in the doorway. I scared the snot out of her. I wasn't necessarily intending to scare her, but I was definitely a pop surprise, as it's called in the haunted house industry, to bring it back to our theme of the evening.
That's your first term, kids. Pop surprise.
Pop surprise. Talk about
That was the term, Bell.
cool beans. Well, in my life, we closed Sherlock's last night, the murder mystery thing. Had our last show yesterday eve. We went out on a good one. Jeff saw it.
Yes, I saw it. It was good.
Highest praise. Yes,
Yes.
I saw it.
The reviews are pouring in. I saw it, says an audience member.
Yeah, but it was really nice. The thing I was just telling you two guys about was it was really sweet. There was actually one of my former students from my teaching job. He's a 6th grader now, and it was actually he heard I was in this, and it was his birthday. And the only thing he wanted for his birthday was to come and be a part of this interactive murder mystery thing. So his parents brought him. It was really sweet. He got to have one of the roles. He was the outlaw Josie Wales, and
It's cute. He got a gun. He
Yeah.
got really excited. I mean, not a real gun, a pop surprise gun,
yes,
whatever. But it was cute. I thought it was really fun. I enjoyed the characters. We had really good food. It was like this Asian barbecue stuff,
Yeah.
barbecue pork stuff. It was really good.
yeah. Marriott caters it. They did a wonderful job.
So there we go.
Yeah.
That was that.
There was that.
Yep.
And you guys are doing a recording for the Springer for Halloween night.
Yes, that's what we were. We were over here yesterday with Jim Farr, per the story at the beginning, and yeah, we're doing kind of a listen along sort of riff track, laugh track to Night of the Living Dead that people have the option of downloading and listening to while they on whatever their mobile device is. MP.
Whatever their MP pod of choice would be.
And they can listen along and listen to us, kind of make fun of the movie, as well as I found a lot of really interesting things about this movie, the history of the production and everything. It was Night of the Living Dead, the original 1968 George Romero zombie movie, was really kind of a watershed sort of movie for that genre. Like it started a lot of things, as well as one of the most interesting things is the movie itself is out of copyright. It's unprotected. You can find, you can watch it, any recording copy of it online. Several people have put out different DVDs of it because it's out there unprotected. And the
Are
reason.
you saying we should put a DVD out there with our riff track on it?
Maybe, yeah. Okay, there you go. And so there's, all of these different versions of it. They really don't vary, except for maybe some of them have like a better sound quality, or they colorized a version back in, I think, the 80s at some point. Anyway, this movie is not under copyright law because the original, the way that you used to copyright the movies is when the title card came up, they had to have the little sort of copyright dated thing on that title card. And what happened was the original title of this movie was called Night of the Flesh Eaters. Because of the title, nobody would distribute the movie. And so they found an organization, the Walter Reed organization in New York, said, we will distribute this, we'll put it in theaters, but you've got to change the title. And so they agreed and changed it to Night of the Living Dead. However, when they did that, they forgot to put the little copyright thing on that title card. And so the Walter Reed organization that put it out there, they got some money because they were distributing it. But essentially, George Romero and the people that produced the movie had no claim to any type of profits made on the movie because it wasn't copyrighted.
What a horrible little technicality.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
You
a
might
jerky...
even say a nightmarish technicality. Whoa!
Yeah. And now, but on, now that was the beginning of George Romero's zombie empire. So it worked out well for him eventually. And the laws have changed such that you no longer have to stamp and date it. Just the fact that you produce the work is enough to copyright it. So,
Yep.
So there you go.
Copyright MCMM Escher
Escher, Geiger.
XVIII Geiger counter.
So speaking of haunted houses.
Yes.
The reason I think I really wanted to have this theme is there is a production of it's sort of an adaptation of Macbeth that is playing in New York right now. And this is a producing organization out of Great Britain called Punch Drunk. And exclusively what they do are these sort of interactive, immersive theater experiences. Haunted house would be one way to kind of approach it, but it's really sort of even more than that. And so this adaptation of Macbeth that they is currently occupying, I think they said, 2 big warehouses in Chelsea, is it's called Sleep No More. The title of it is actually a line from the play Macbeth that I think, let's see here, Duncan says, sleep no more, Macbeth does murder sleep. And so that's where the title of the show comes from. And excuse me. And the way it works is you as an audience member go there, you check in, they give you a mask. There are a couple of rules before you enter this sort of environment, this experience. Oh, and I didn't say, let me go back. They have actually turned the warehouses into a sort of old 1940s hotel. It's called they call it the McKittrick. I'll read the sort of little preview thing you get before you enter the warehouse. This is on their Punch Drunk's website. Here we go. All right, I'm going to say it very ominously. Set a tone. Give me a little theremin. It's a wacky theremin. Thanks. So here we go. Completed in 1939. The McKittrick Hotel was intended to be New York's finest and most decadent luxury hotel of its time. 6 weeks before opening and 2 days after the outbreak of World War II, the legendary hotel was condemned and left locked, permanently sealed from the public until now. So you enter this sort of decayed old hotel scene, and there's all sorts of different rooms, but As an audience member, the rules are they don't encourage you to talk, so there's no talking amongst yourselves. Characters will interact with you, but typically they're trying to get you to do something, and it doesn't require that you speak with the actor. You figure it out intuitively. No cell phones, of course, but the last thing is you have to wear this mask that they give you. Everybody wears a mask, and it's kind of one of those. I think it's referred to like those Venetian carnival masks. If you saw the movie Eyes Wide Shut, a lot of people in that movie wore those type of, it's a mask and it's got the little beak thing. Yeah. And so you have to wear the mask. You enter this environment, and they said typically it lasts for about 3 hours. You're encouraged to wander the hotel with a group of people. They encourage you to go off on your own. Actors that are playing out scenes in the various rooms may invite you to interact. They encourage you to go through the drawers, follow people, open doors, investigate, because it's a totally immersive sort of story. And from most of the people that have gone through it, they say it's absolutely terrifying because you're in the dark, you're wearing this mask, you're just kind of carried along into this story. So, yeah. It doesn't really invite.
Well, it does a little bit. One of the things I was looking up about haunted houses, I was thinking about the mask stuff made me think about this, and you can't talk, right? You said that,
right?
Right.
It's
You
one
can't
of the
talk
rules
to each other, but you just in general can't talk, right?
Yes.
One of the things I was looking up about haunted houses said that how common injuries are in haunted houses, and why they're common. Because people flail about when they get scared, and for example, there's a lot of men punching teenage girls in these situations because you've got like teenage girls working the haunted houses, right? Like this one girl said she was 16 and her job was to pop up out of a casket. She said, "I thought I was there to take tickets, but they said, 'Can you do this for us?'" And so she would pop out of the casket or whatever. And one time she did, and this guy punched her in the stomach.
Wow.
And there's this one lady who talks about getting chased through the exit door of the haunted house by this guy so he could hit her. I'm like, I'm not saying the haunted houses are fronts for domestic violence.
Sure.
I'm just saying, like, I'm thinking of these big tough men freaking out and punching these little,
Right.
kids who are running these haunted houses.
That's terrible.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh.
But they say it's really common. Broken noses, I said, are the most common injuries.
Wow. I get the sense from this one, while haunted house would certainly be a good comparison, I don't think it's totally that.
Right.
And I would generally imagine the people that would be attracted to this, it's a film noir environmental adaptation of Macbeth.
You don't think they're very punchy?
I would imagine not.
Can we hop in the car like tonight and get there by Halloween night and go see this thing?
God, I when I heard about it a couple months ago, I think it was initially on NPR is where I heard of it, and
Freakonomics, I think.
Oh yeah, that's right, yeah. And oh God, I've wanted to. Originally, this was actually a remount. They initially did it, I think they said in Baltimore, back in 2003. And so this was sort of a remount of the production, I think, with some changes and, clean it up a little bit. But this Chelsea run opened last April or March, and it was only supposed to run for a month. But again, became so insanely popular, they were like, all right, let's make it run through at least Halloween. And so it's going to run, I think, till the first week of November. So
Well, that gives us more time then.
gives us a little bit of time, yeah. But God, yeah, I mean, it just sounds absolutely fascinating.
I wonder how people's behaviors change with the mask on, though. I think that was something they addressed a little bit in the Freakonomics thing, but I'm fascinated by masks in general. So,
Well, it's interesting because I think it could go two ways with a mask, right? One, it could make people feel maybe claustrophobic and closed off.
okay.
That's certainly one reaction. However, one thing that I always notice, and we saw it last night, is they downtown they had a lot of the Halloween parties at the bars and everything. People walking around in costumes, and you kind of get this bravery when you dress up.
Suddenly
Yeah.
you're brave enough
Yeah.
to wear a thong that's several sizes too small because you're wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And it's fine that you're,
Who can tell?
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I always found that I forget I can talk when I'm in full mask. I mean, part of it is, a lot of what I've done in full mask is mascot work, either at the theme parks or at schools and things where the character doesn't speak. But then I'll be like, so I get used to not speaking in the mask and communicating physically. But then, like, I'll put it on and I'll be backstage, and one of my attendants or somebody will ask me a question backstage that I could totally just, like, sort of answer. And I start communicating the way I always do as the mascot character
Yeah.
and just literally forget that I am able to talk. It really disconnects your brain in some interesting ways to do mask stuff.
I like that you have attendants. That just sounded very regal. And then one of my attendants will tell me, will ask me a question. Oh, those.
That's what they're called in the park.
I know. I'm just writing you because it's funny.
It conjures an image too to me. I just imagine you walking into this room and you just hold your arms out and this swarm descends on you, and then when it parts, your costume is gone and you are Aaron once again.
And you're in a bathrobe and bunny slippers and you have your mug of tea.
Yes.
That'd be nice. Generally, you're lucky if they know when to hand you a Sharpie. Some of them are absolutely amazing and take great care of you, and some of them are not absolutely amazing and will be like you're being beaten on by 13 children and they don't even notice because they're dealing with one of the other characters or whatever. But it's at the other side of that, at the end of a shift in Fantasyland, Tigger and Pooh go out to meet right in front of Pooh's playground in Fantasyland. And Tigger, at the end of the day, when he's not coming back on and they're all like, okay, Tigger, it's time to go. Tigger can like skip across Fantasyland and people make room for him because he's big, he's moving quickly. He's Tigger. They know they're going to get jumped on if they get in his way. Winnie the Pooh, however, has to walk gently and quietly and lazily, and people freak out that he's leaving. And like, instead of the one attendant that's been with us all day for the two of us, an attendant, two assistant captains, and a captain will show up for the area and like surround him Secret Service style. Like they've all got the headpieces in and they're making this circle shoulder to shoulder around Winnie the Pooh, shuffling him through Fantasyland because he has to move so slowly that the crowd can get the momentum and take back the control. And so they escort him to his safe location.
Does he leave earlier? I mean, if they got to build in that time.
Generally, they send Tigger off first to sort of clear a path, surround Pooh, and move in Tigger's wake off of the field.
The honey is in the pot.
Thank you. I was
the
looking
honey
for
is in the
something
pot.
like that.
Yeah.
B is in flight. B is in flight.
Oh, bother. Yeah. So, all right. So here is the sort of little next level on this Sleep No More production by Punch Drunk. So as I was sort of researching it to talk more knowledgeably about it this morning, I found out there's this new level. I stumbled across an article. It was on Gizmodo, and the Punch Drunk Productions invited this writer from Gizmodo to come, and they said, we've got this new thing we're doing. We haven't released it wide yet, but we want to try it out, and we'd be curious if you would be willing to try it out for us, be a part of it. So she shows up, and it turns out the mask that all audience members are required to wear, it has some hardware in it, basically. It's you have to wear a little sort of fanny pack, which has like, Bluetooth sort of communication things in it. It sounded like she was also describing there were maybe even little headphones in there. So she was getting voices and sounds and things that the people generally going through the environment were not getting. And so she noticed they put it on her. She was going through the experience. And when she would get to certain areas of the building, it was almost like it sort of triggered certain events. She would hear things. It would trigger certain actions around her. She said it was so intense and so jarring, she only lasted for about an hour before she left the environment, went back to talk with the artistic director of Punch Drunk, as well as one of their tech guys who had set it up. And so, and that's when they revealed to her the next step at this is, yes, she was wearing this electronic mask to kind of enhance her experience, but the thing she did not know was everything that she was seeing through the mask and everything she was experiencing was being fed back to a remote player at a computer. And so this player at the computer, it's like you're playing a video game, basically. The goal of that player is to basically mess with the person wearing the mask. And so they have these things, they have basically options and tools available to them depending upon what part of the building they are. And like one part she described was she went into, she said a character walked by her and told her to be at the lawyer's office at a certain time. And when she saw it was that time, she goes to the office, nobody's there, there's a typewriter. The typewriter started typing and was typing out messages to her. Those messages were coming from the guy on the computer. Yeah. And so, so it became this sort of enhanced, sort of symbiotic, thing. There was what she was adding to the experience being in the environment. And then there was this guy at a computer messing with her.
Now, there's the thought that things like that, haunted houses, or I know that's not a haunted house, but
Sure.
things that are designed to scare people, which, for lack of a better word, I'm just going to keep calling haunted house because whatever. But scare houses, whatever, are only successful because people know that they are baseline safe.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. And so she's able to invest in that world and be creeped out. But at the end of the day, she knows she's safe. I wonder what's the challenge then for the performers, for these people go in and again, they know they're going to be okay, but how do you get them riled up enough that their brain says, you're not okay, you need to leave?
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of some of the stuff I looked up, unless you had a specific track you wanted to take with it.
Oh, no, go ahead, because, I mean, that's interesting. It's like, why do we put ourselves through those things? Yeah.
Well, a lot of it comes from the same place where we talked about in the roller coaster episode about that pretending to be out of control sensation being very psychologically satisfying in a strange backhanded sort of way. That moment of letting someone else control the twists and turns and just going with it and knowing that you're going to make it through, but not knowing quite how you're going to get there. But a lot of the stuff I looked up talked about there's sort of two schools of thought in modern haunted house, traditional haunted house. Go through, get scared. And there's the technological side and the human side. And so more and more you get a pair of 3D glasses when you go into a haunted house on a mainstream thing. Mm-hmm. And there's paintings and projections and things that all react through 3D so that things can be seeming to come at you very safely, but it's right there in your face. Or that you get depth and reality that you wouldn't get just looking at a normal video screen. They can suddenly make a video screen look like you're walking over a bottomless pit. So they've got the 3D glasses. The animatronics are improving every year, so that in a dark room with the filter of these glasses on, you can't tell necessarily immediately what's animatronic and what's alive. You've got sound effects and laser triggers. Like as soon as you walk into a room, you stand in a certain spot and a thing happens. And there's all this automation that's being able to be put into these haunted houses, which is upping the sort of ambient level of the house. Mm-hmm. What's going on, what's going around you, what's real, what's not real, taking away that sense of certainty. And there's this other sort of school that's like it's the performers that really can control things, because performers can personalize. They can look at Adam and know that what's going to work for Adam is to come up and do a creepy little girl voice right behind his head, where they can look at Jeff and know that just screaming as loud as possible immediately behind him is going to be what gets the reaction.
Yeah.
And they can make that on-the-fly choice as a performer that a robot, that a automated house can't, and that's sort of where this pilot person in the automated mask comes in.
Yeah.
He's going to have a better sense of what's going to creep her out right now. And so, but then you got the other sort of negatives of it. A lot of actors cost a lot of money.
And get punched in the nose.
And get punched in the nose.
Cost insurance money.
So you've got the other side of things as well. So really, they are working to sort of create this hybrid balance generally in the houses, where the animatronic 3D clown with the chainsaw dissecting the robotic cheerleader distracts you long enough for the trained professional to come up behind you and scare you as the best way they think they can get away with. But the thing that they're starting to integrate this year that looks like it's going to expand and expand is because, terror on a personal level is more powerful. They're doing things like smartphone sweeps and picking up your Facebook account. And friends and family will appear on tombstones. Their names will be on tombstones. There'll be paintings on the wall that are like your friends and family slowly rotting into zombified versions of themselves.
Ooh, no thank you.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Yeah.
No.
And so...
Yeah. I can think of a couple. No.
They said friends. Look around.
Yeah. Go on.
So
Aaron.
they're working in the standard haunted house to try and make it that more personalized, this is about you, Adam Montag kind of experience. And the idea that there are controllers in the system
And
is...
it's amazing how just those little touches, though, can absolutely terrify you. I'll tell you a little experience that I had, the Saw movies. Okay? When the first movie came out, nobody knew what the heck it was going to be about. They were very smart about putting very limited sort of trailers out there. So it was a little confusing as to what was actually going to happen. And they had this little viral campaign where they set up a website, and you went to the website and you had to basically kind of play the jigsaw games, choose certain things, and it would take you to the next, or sometimes you would choose the wrong thing and it would dump you back to the beginning of and I went to it because I'd never experienced it. Was kind of the sort of beginning of these online viral marketing things, and again, nobody knew anything about the movie. So I'm clicking on it, and I'm actually in this was when I was in Kentucky. I'm in the ed office by myself at night. I think we were on break from a rehearsal or something, and so I was just kind of wasting time on the computer. But I click on the link, and finally the screen just goes white, and then it starts like doing like a slow drip trail of blood from the top down to the bottom, and I hear over the speakers, Adam must die, Adam must die. And I'm like, how the hell did it know my name? Because I didn't type any of that information in. It was just, you could click on things. I just jumped in there, and it just, all of a sudden the computer is saying, Adam must die, Adam must die. And I was just like, shut the program down, got the heck out of the office, went back there. Turns out, after I saw the movie, one of the main characters in the first movie is named Adam. Yeah, but that particular moment scared the hell out of me. I was like, I'm done. And of course,
That's when you left technology forever.
Right. And you guys understand my particular view on computers. At that point, even more so than now, computers were magic. And so I was real curious how this computer that I had never told my name to was now threatening to murder me.
It had seen your soul.
I guess so. Adam must die.
Let's stop saying that.
Okay.
Aaron must die.
Okay.
Aaron must.
He kind of smiled jovially and nodded in agreement.
Aaron. I'm still stuck on these robotic cheerleaders he was talking about.
She's going to grow up to be a robotic wife.
I do I do think that comes back to the themes we talk about a lot of things getting more niche and more personal, and content just getting more about the individual as you have more information. The Adam Must Die is a wonderful coincidence, of course, but now people are looking to create those moments, and I guess, wow, I guess it's hard. The thing that got me is you said, you're right, you didn't enter in any information. In this case, it was just a coincidence.
Yeah.
But it's not, if there's a way to get that information and it not somehow violate privacy or whatever, or where you can forget that you gave the information, where it's not like at the end of the ET ride where he's like, goodbye, Billy, Adam, Aaron, Jeff, name, whatever.
Yeah, insert name.
But you remember giving your name out.
Yeah.
If there's a way where they can, I don't know if there is, but kind of you get that information and use
Well,
it.
let me ask you, because Aaron, you were talking about it kind of pulls the personal information. Did you have to
There seemed
click
to be
on some
some-
app or go ahead?
Yeah, there seemed to be you could register your Facebook account on the way in.
Sure.
Which might disconnect it mentally enough. It's like, well, I didn't give him my name. I gave him my Facebook account. And so it pulls all your friends' information that you have publicly available.
Yeah.
Kind of like the sketch in Tweeted.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then the other one seemed to indicate that it had a little spider that was picking up the Wi-Fi signal and looking at phones and saying, oh, well, this is public information on their Facebook account, so therefore it's fair game.
And the interesting thing is, like we were talking last week about privacy, I mean, people click on so many agreements and just kind of throw that information out there anyway.
Yep.
I could imagine just clicking, oh, yeah, sure, like or whatever, so that this...
As you're buying the ticket, or
Yeah.
as you're,
It's
That's
like, wanna be on our
nothing for
Facebook
anybody.
mailing list?
Yeah.
What's that?
Do you want to be on our Facebook mailing
Right,
list?
Yeah.
Right.
It's-
Commercial and ticket boothy and not about the show at all. And then
Yeah.
you get in there and it suddenly
it's
is bringing
completely
your stuff to
innocuous.
life.
Yeah.
Privacy controls the most frightening thing of all.
Yeah. But
I would like to see, if it was like a totally robot controlled thing, the people who put cartoon characters as their profile pic or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like
everyone
Doug
who-
Funny
who's
decaying
promoting a
into
show.
zombie form.
Everyone who's promoting a show. Tattoo.
oh, that'd be funny.
You as the madam.
Cool. Well, there was speaking of this, interactive haunted house, there was something that I was telling Jeff about the other day that he had never heard about and had no experience about. And
Women.
Exactly. I sat him down and I set him straight. And
Straight enough.
straight enough. Yeah. Go out there. Multiply, be fruitful. And I'm making biblical references because the particular thing that I told Jeff about was this thing called a judgment house. Have you heard of it? Okay, Aaron knows what I'm talking about. Okay, I went to a couple of these when I was younger, back in high school. Again, I came up through a Baptist-run school. It was very conservative, fundamentalist, and there was another Christian school in town that every year they did this thing called a judgment house. And it's supposed to be like an alternative to the haunted house, scare formula. The way it works is, they do an environmental sort of setup. And you go in as a group and you watch this story play out in small chapters. Typically, the way it works is it's usually a group of teenagers you're following in the story because the majority of their traffic is probably, high schoolers like I was at the time. And, you're presented with these characters and some of them are Christians and, have done the whole personal salvation thing. And then the other part of their group of friends have not done that. And then there's usually some accident or event, a car wreck or something, and all of the teenagers die. And then you follow the teenagers into the afterlife. And one group goes to heaven and the other group you see goes to hell.
One group is sheep.
Yes.
One group is
goats.
Goats.
There you go. Yeah. And so after you follow through the whole thing, and then usually after you go through the environmental house setup, there's usually a place that they empty you out, and you sit in a tent and have a little sort of altar call and commit your life, And
Right.
but it was
a live action version of those paper booklets.
yeah.
The where they enact
Oh, the
a
little
dramatic,
tracks.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a little dramatic scenario that happens to a character.
Yeah, the little mission tracks. Yeah, that sometimes people
Is that
would get.
what those are called?
Well, I know that they're called tracks.
I call them bad comic books.
Yes. There were several houses on my street that used to give those out at Halloween as well.
There's a book somewhere in here about Adam's experiences as a youth.
Yeah, there's a
book there.
Anyway, I agree.
Back to this.
But it was interesting because again, I was already, starting to steer towards theater, and they present the whole situation in a very theatrical way, and you talk about. And this was 1995. We would fill out cards at the beginning, and one of the things that would happen is when you got to the gates of heaven, your name, if your name is written in the Lamb's Book of Life, you can enter into heaven. And so what they did at that point was all the name cards they had gotten, they called out everybody's name. Which it's kind of
like
an eerie
E.T.
thing. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's what made me think of it. And so, it's kind of a unsettling thing, especially where I was in my development. You know what I mean? The images that this sort of medieval sort of, wagon play, morality play that was playing out in front of me. Yeah.
Repent, every man, repent.
Yeah. These were powerful images. The one thing that I do remember that I thought was incredible on one of them was when we went into hell. And that can get real cheesy real fast, and a lot of them were, flames, cartoon flames painted on the wall, and just people.
Red crepe paper blown by fans.
Yeah.
Instead of sitting in the line of the DMV.
You said that was a pleasurable experience.
Actually,
this week.
I must say, the local DMV is very nice now.
Yes, they have
it's
changed.
a good experience.
And so,
Anyway.
the scenes of hell, and that's the danger of any horror scene or movie. It can get real silly real fast. However, this one particular Judgment House, they did something I thought was awesome. The room that you entered into hell was completely pitch black. They said, before we go in here, everybody put your hand on the shoulder of the person in front of you. And they basically snaked us through a room that was completely blacked out. They must have put space heaters around because the temperature in the room was significantly hot and stifling and sweltering. It felt like they had kind of built a path of carpeted walls, but it was very tight, very claustrophobic. You're in the dark. It's super hot, and they were basically playing a track of screams. And so it was this, I thought, really effective, environmental type of scare.
Letting the mind do the work rather than
yeah.
cardboard and paint. Yeah.
You were going for a higher level scare.
Yeah.
That's good. I
A
see.
higher level, yeah.
Now,
Go ahead.
back when you were doing them, were they locking you into the last room until you accepted?
No, they weren't. In fact, the way the one that I know we went to frequently, the story was inside the house. There was this big old house downtown that I think that's the only thing they ever did in it. It was nobody lived in it, and every year it became the Judgment House. But no, it funneled out to the back, and then they had a little tent set up outside, and it was just a 10-minute little.
It sounds more like in my limited church experience, but it sounds more like locking them down would be counterproductive to what they're wanting to do based on the way they're trying to draw them in, right? It sounds like they're trying to scare you and, for them, I suppose, inform you to the point where you want what I think what preachers really want is for you to make the choice to answer the call yourself.
Right.
More than, they're awful lights kind of brainwashing.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's interesting to me because it seems like they put all that, they get your hackles up so that you'll say, okay, tell me the sermon. And then after the sermon, you go, okay, I want to,
Yeah. And I suspect, looking back on it, I think the majority of their audience, people going through it, were not necessarily those that were identifying as non-Christian or unconverted. Right. It was more like sort of a reaffirmation. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It was a reminder of.
But also, bringing the kids in, you're saying it made a big impression on you because of your age and your environment, and I could see that as a first step to getting the kids to start to think about some of the more serious aspects of their faith. And I think you and I were talking recently about age of accountability.
Yes.
As a thing, like when do you go from being a kid who's raised in a faith to, if I'm understanding it correctly, leaving the transition of childhood and saying, oh, okay, there are consequences, and I'm now aware enough as a human being that I in this culture I'm supposed to choose. And stuff. That's interesting.
Yeah.
To me.
So there you go. Judgment houses. And you, Aaron, you had a bit of a response when I said that.
Yes.
Want to add anything to it?
Just the modern ones have gotten a lot of bad press because many of them do sort of advertise themselves more. You know, they call the hell houses. So they can advertise in such a way that they can get the accidental haunted house crowd, and then literally have the doors basically essentially barred in the hell chamber
as legally as
until
they can.
people convert, or at least claim to convert, or whatever.
Sure.
And so they are, just
manipulating. They're
manipulative. I mean,
Sure.
it sounds like even with the best of intentions, they're manipulative. But I find them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
In a lot of different ways.
I do not disagree.
Yeah. And I think it comes down to, and we have all had this discussion privately or one-on-one or as a group. There comes a point where if you want to embrace religious aspects, you don't want it to be a fear-based thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
And so I look back now and can appreciate it as the sort of beginnings of theater for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Theater's tied in religion and ceremony,
Yeah.
and always has been. And there's something about the cathartic experience of, I would say, performing.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the audience have cathartic experiences, but there's something about being performing and being a heightened being or whatever that I think is congruent. And I remember flashing back to Neil's script analysis or acting class, whatever Neil was teaching that day, talking about how theater history or something, about how the cathartic experiences are so related to religion and the same kind of transcending, transformative.
And that word catharsis there, that's what a lot of the plays were originally written for, was to purge that intense emotion out of the populace.
It's like Ponfar. Yeah.
I love Aaron ducked out of the frame and you said Ponfar and he shot back up again like Ponfar?
Is it 7 years? Is it time? Is it time?
It was just a funny little set of coincidences.
If I fight you, Captain, I intend to kill you.
Yeah, but again, it comes back to, and now we're talking about catharsis, and it just comes back to an audience shows up, whether it's to a movie, whether it's to this environmental piece, Sleep No More, whether it's a Judgment House, assuming they haven't been tricked to being there, they show up with a willingness to suspend their disbelief and just play along.
Yeah,
and it's absolutely amazing that I think we as humans have that ability. I feel that I'm very hardcore. I will just completely surrender to whatever the movie. Like we were watching Looper the other day. I know.
Well, sometimes I can't. It's not that I can't, but I have to make that choice.
Sure. But I feel that I just like once the movie starts or once the play starts or the book, I just kind of just like little kid, plop down, okay. And because like I was saying Looper the other day when we saw that, very early on in the movie, they established that any character at any moment can be shot, like just killed without any warning. And I spent the first hour of the movie with my hands clasped to my chest because I was just terrified at any moment any character could just die.
See, and we get like 20 minutes in, and I'm like, what's wrong with Joseph Gordon-Levitt's eyebrows?
Yeah.
That's a terrible makeup job. What's going on there?
And see, the thing is,
what's going on with
I'm getting all
eyebrows?
those things, but I could not have that conversation with you or respond in any effective way.
During the movie?
During the movie. Until the movie was over. We had a great conversation after we saw it, but in that moment, I am there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. I think that's great. I think you get your money's worth more than I do that way.
Yeah.
What, Aaron?
I very much watch things with sort of this dual brain thing happening, and like one entire Aaron is watching completely immersed in
I get that. Yeah.
the story, and one entire Aaron is sitting completely outside of it, watching what the light is doing and what especially
Yeah.
on stage when I know how the lights and things work.
And never the twain shall meet.
Lit. Sorry?
Never the twain shall meet.
No,
If you
they're
see
two
Aaron Gottlieb
totally
on the
different
road,
people watching whatever it is I'm watching.
Yeah. 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 But it's, I'm not going to say that's a negative on me, but, sometimes I don't
I
have the
think
most critical eye. Thank you. Yeah.
I think that is great. I think if you are a storyteller, I think that you are the kind of audience member that a storyteller wants. Someone that's just going to say, "Oh, my job is to just go for it, and you're going to take me on a." Because I think it's the greatest thing that you can give to a storyteller, which is trust.
Yeah.
It's like I trust that number one, you don't suck as a storyteller, right?
Sure.
I trust that what you're going to do is going to be interesting to me, it's going to be engaging, and is worth the most precious thing of all, our time, right?
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And that I think is a great gift to a storyteller. So
As to a haunted house, you
sure, yeah.
have to trust them as well.
You just have to kind of give into it. It's amazing the gaps that are filled in by human imagination when you are willing to just go into it, whether it be an environmental piece like you're talking about, all the ones we talked about, or reading a book or seeing a play or whatever. And the things that, best analogy for me, an old video game, like a sprite-based video game where it's a 2D drawings like a Mario or an early Zelda or something, and the drawings are not, the pixels or whatever, the graphics, there we go, there's the word, Jeffrey, are not very detailed. But you can have a deeply immersive experience in this world because your imagination fills in all of those gaps.
Can I tell you, you talking about that, I clearly remember playing Super Mario Brothers on the old NES,
yeah.
and talking about low resolution and simplified graphics and everything. You know the level where it was all the giant mushrooms and
Yeah.
you're leaping. When Mario would not quite make it to that next ledge, and you would watch him drop from the top of the screen all the way into the bottom, and then you lose the life.
All 3 inches of that length.
Yeah, but I could feel in the pit of my stomach. It was the same response, like if I was on a roller coaster.
Oh,
like it would be
yeah.
the tightening and like, oh no, he's falling. Ah, like yeah.
And then the reassuring music. Do-do, do-do-do,
Yeah.
do-do-do.
Oh, good, he's still alive. He's still alive. Yeah.
Prince of Persia, the newest ones, not the newest ones, the Sands of Time.
When they
I had
started
that a
over.
lot. Like every time I missed a jump, I just felt my entire body just go. And then I would get up every time, and it would be all right.
Yeah.
First-person shooters creep me out. Maybe because my first one was Doom, and it's pixely and whatever.
Yeah.
But it was I don't like in video games being able to see behind me. So if I can pick the sort of 3D isometric view where you can see the character, but you can still it almost
Over the
looks
shoulder kind of stuff.
Yeah, I like that because I can see what's behind the character, and I don't have like my hackles raised in my back. Like I couldn't play Doom because I'm just like I can't see everything.
Yeah.
What's gonna get me? What's gonna get me? Oh, pixelated monster's gonna get me.
Go beans. So it sounds like we're into the testimonial portion of the podcast, talking about
Oh, are we?
personal, just personal experiences and,
Oh, okay.
and reactions to. So I had a question, just because we're talking
our
about
fears.
yes, put them out there
Here
to
you
the
go,
world.
internet.
You want to manipulate us? Here's how. No, just
Donate to the podcast.
I will
That
do
will manipulate
anything
us
if you donate.
so well.
I was just curious if anyone has had a haunted experience. I mean, and it doesn't have to be like, "Ooh, ghost was there in front of me," but just weird situation. One that came to mind when I was researching this, and Jeff has been to this place. It's this hotel in St. Mary's, Georgia. It's right there on the waterway. If you've ever done the children's theater tour at CSU, you always go to perform in Camden County, and you stay at this hotel. And I'll never forget when we got there. We arrived at like 2:00 in the morning. In fact, there was nobody in the roadways. The door to the hotel was unlocked. We walk into the front desk, and there were keys laid out. with a little note that said, "Choose your rooms. We'll see y'all in the morning."
Oh my God, that sounds like the beginning of a game.
And then I swear, so I swear to God. So we grabbed our keys, and then you go up the stairs, and it opens to a landing, and the whole upstairs is where all the converted rooms are. A long time ago, the way it used to be set up, and I think the same family has owned this house for 100 years. The downstairs used to be like a general store and restaurant, and then upstairs is where they lived. Now the upstairs has been converted into separate bedrooms for the hotel. And so we all have our individual keys, and I swear to God, they could have not spread us out further. Like one of us were in the corner room over here, another one was down the hallway over here, another group was way down the other side of the hallway over there. We were like spread to the wind. And it's just, it's an older converted building. It just is giving off that sort of, creepy air. The room that I stayed in.
A southern building, too.
Southern,
which,
yeah.
That's a specific kind of creepy.
And the other thing was there was a dog. There was this dog. It was an old, like bloodhound, sort of, droopy eyes, droopy ear, sort of.
This is
beast.
classic. This is great.
But it did, when we walked in, we weren't sure when we first saw it whether it was alive or stuffed, because it didn't respond to us at all. The only way we knew it was alive was after we had gone in upstairs and put our stuff in our respective rooms, waiting for the inevitable murders to happen. There was a sitting room upstairs, and the dog, while we were in our rooms, had wandered upstairs and was now sitting motionless on the upstairs sofa.
That doesn't really prove it was alive.
Okay, good point. So the room that I was in, I shared a room. It was
the
me.
Hound of the Magnolias.
I shared a room with Jennifer Adams and Chris Dunbar, except this is how our room was configured. We went into the first room, coming out of the hallway, where there was a big double bed, 4-poster bed, and then there was a little anteroom off to the side that had 2 little children's beds. Jennifer Adams and Chris Dunbar slept in those 2 beds, and I slept in the big double bed by myself. With the door open, we fell asleep talking to each other from room to room, because we were all just getting a weird ooky vibe from the place. And nothing happened to me. There was no weird goings on. It was just this sort of unsettling feeling. You know what I mean? Turned out the next day, we get up, we did our show at Camden County. A couple months later, there was a show on PBS, 10 Most Haunted Places in Georgia. Turns out that was like number 9. This particular hotel, and the room that I was staying in was the most haunted room. They described, people that had stayed in the room before described an experience of they would be in the bed and they would feel a tugging on their leg. And one man in particular said there was it was a hunting trip, like a bunch of buddies, and they all checked in. And the next morning, one of the guys that was supposed to be sleeping in that room wasn't there. Apparently, he had an experience where he said he was completely pulled out of the bed onto the floor, freaked him out. So in the middle of the night, he left and checked into another hotel and then met back up with his buddies the next morning. But,
Speaking of most haunted places in Georgia, I do have one.
Yes.
I actually have a Springer ghost story, which I never thought I would have and never necessarily wanted. It was early in the morning. I feel like I want to say it was a weekend. No, I think it was. I can't exactly remember, but anyway, I'm terrible with time. But it was early in the morning. People were not in the building yet, and I was coming in to work. And this was actually years ago. And I was coming into work, and I go through the backstage to the green room and into what is now the Hall of Legends, but at the time was Pigeon Alley. Mm-hmm. And I open the door, and there's this little girl at the end of the hall, and she was barefoot, and she had a white dress on, and she was a little precocious and giggly, and I'm like, okay, the teacher in me kicks in immediately. I'm like, oh, okay, there's someone's kid here. Okay, and I'm like, hey, who are you? Who do you belong to? And she looks at me, and then she darts off to the elevator close to the saloon, that direction. There's a kid running. The teacher in me kicks in. Where the hell are you going, kid? And so I zip around the corner immediately after her. She's gone. All of the immediate doors are locked. The elevator did not open. I check saloon, Foley, outside. I mean, like, I go down that whole corridor, anywhere she could have gone in what I felt like was a reasonable amount of time for how quickly she moved. And I was like, that's weird. Okay, fine. That's someone's kid. Whatever. Clearly, she's fine. I don't know where she went, but she's fine. The rest of that day, as the staff starts to trickle in to work, I'm like, hey, whose kid is so-and-so? And I describe the kid, and they're like, no, nobody. This is no one's, not mine. Nope. What did you see exactly? I'm like, a kid. And I look it up, and I had never read Paul's ghost book. But I looked it up. I was like, okay, this is strange enough that I'll look it up. And there is a girl in there that matched the description fairly well of what I saw. I won't say it's exact, but it was close enough that I was like, oh, okay, that's weird. And true ghost experience or not, that's my story.
It's a neat
It was like,
That's a great story.
that was my one.
All right, Aaron, it's your turn. Bring us home.
Well, my house has apparently a ghost cat in it. Several different people have talked about it, where you see something sort of move at knee level, sort of quickly out of the corner of your eye, and none of the cats are actually upstairs. It usually seems to be the front bedroom of the upstairs story, and one person was actually lying down on the bed as we were all sitting around chatting, and she suddenly sat bolt upright and was like, so, do you have a cat? Because a cat just walked across my back.
Huh.
And,
And the room you're talking about, Aaron, I refuse to sleep in that
I always
room.
sleep in that room.
Right, yeah. I always sleep in the water bedroom because it was a long time ago. And again, nothing specific. I didn't feel a ghost cat walk across my back, but I've always had an uneasy feeling in that room to the point that I can't relax and go to sleep. So, yeah, it's a creepy room for me.
Sure.
and that's why you got the front room, Jeff.
I remember one night, I switched with you. I did not know this.
Yeah, this
and
is
I
before
slept
I
in the
told this
water
to
bed,
Jeff, yeah.
And Adam was like, you can't have that room, okay? I'm like,
The next
okay.
morning, yeah. I came home late. Jeff had already taken the water bedroom. Yeah, and I think I slept 2 hours that night. I opened my computer and I watched like Hulu all night long because I was like, I could not sleep. It was terrible.
Did not know.
So a recent study happened. They were trying to technologically induce a haunting scenario, and they set up a clean room, but then leaked EMF into one area and infrasonic sounds into another zone, and like threw people into this like isolated room and tracked when they had moments of experience. And
Did they know that was what they were tracking? I mean,
they were asked to record any unusual experiences with no other explanation.
okay, right.
And so a certain number of them came out with this list of experiences, and they tried to track and correlate it. And unfortunately, because science works this way sometime, it looked more like law of suggestibility than manifesting a haunting. But a lot of people had certain experiences in the EMF and infrasonic areas of the room.
Right.
So it's sort of one possibility of things, but it's not trackable at least in that experiment.
And it's just fun.
Yeah.
I saw.
It's much more fun to have a ghost cat than a leaky EMF.
Yes.
Guest
Oh,
bedroom.
we got to tighten it up. We got a leaky EMF. Or perhaps they're all related somehow. Perhaps we're like Doctor Who, where the barrier between the universes, we're breaking them down with our EMFing and our studies, and we can control it. Anyway, blah blah blah. Who cares? Speaking of ghost cat, I had an experience in this house. Well, I'm glad you're here. And it was not people though. But there was one point where in that back hallway in the room that we cannot go into,
Yeah.
in the corner one night, I saw, again, I was late. I was probably tired, whatever. But I felt like I saw two, like, dog-level eyes looking up at me. And I told Danny, he was like, you need to describe this to me. And I described it, but I don't remember exactly what it was anymore. But
I'm just going to say, in fairness, having cleaned a good portion of this house, it is not unlikely
reality.
that you actually encountered an animal wandering around the stacks of things.
I think the
here.
reality of this house is
Yeah.
far more terrifying than any spiritual manifestation.
All right.
So one last divergent haunted house related thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
A group of puppeteers in Atlanta, some of them are friends of mine, started a little web series. It sort of has fallen into that. We haven't quite launched Valley, but it's called Spook House Dave, and it's this little puppet series about a kid who got raised in a haunted house. And so it's sort of a monsters kind of enclave of,
mean
there's a
Mockingbird
mummy
Lane?
and a what?
I said, you mean Mockingbird Lane?
No, this is the other Mockingbird Lane. Spook House Dave grew up, and so there's a witch and a vampire and a werewolf but they're all just bizarre puppet versions of all of these various archetypes. And check it out, spookhousedave.com. It may hopefully come back if they start getting some energy from the public. So I would love to see this series happen. I think it's a lot of fun.
Let's post a link.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aaron.
Right.
I'm looking at you.
You are. Okay. So our last thing before we sign off, because we do need to sign off, is that if our friend Nelson had his way, there would be no haunted houses. And here's why. Nelson, who's very into this stuff, says that, if a venue, if an area is haunted, then the idea is that there are souls trapped between this world and the next, and they do not know that they are dead. Okay? Therefore, any enjoyment that you get out of a haunted venue is cruel.
Because you're just feeding that energy.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
It's supposedly it's cruel because you're just encouraging it, and so you're not letting these dead rest, right? And so Nelson says, and any place that he goes to that he thinks is haunted, he says if he had a white candle he would bring it, but he would just want to go into the place and say, "You're dead. Go to God." And he did that at the Springer, and. There was I had heard story after, and I was there, and I'd heard story after he did that of some other paranormal examiner or whatever who was coming in, like they do every other week at the Springer, and I believe it was a woman, and she walked in and she said, "Someone has cleansed this space." So,
Wow.
it could be no more ghost stories.
I'd heard. Yeah.
Because this was after I'd had my whatever run in or whatever. Or maybe they just like to hang out and see the shows. Or we just got really leaky EMF problems. Timey-wimey bits.
Cool. All right.
Anyway. Okay, gents. Anything else? Time for sign-offs?
Sign-offs.
Okay. I am Jeff, and I am going to go to the doctor about my leaky EMF bits.
I'm Aaron, and I am upgrading my house to hot and cold running chills.
I am Adam, and this podcast is clean.
Our listenership is dead. Go to God.
Walk into the light.
The light you see at the end of the tunnel is the headlight of a fast approaching train.
Oh, wow. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, Elmo.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.